Hello and welcome to Lexitecture, a podcast about word origins and histories. My name is Ryan, and in each episode my friend Amy and I bring a new pair of words to share their stories with each other and you. You can find our past episodes and the occasional blog post on our website at lexitecture.com. Follow along with us on Twitter and Facebook at Lexitecture, and if you really like what we do, you can support the show at patreon.com/lexitecture.
Hello Lexitecturers, or should that be Lexitects? Today we'll find out as I take a solo look at the fascinating etymology of the name of this podcast, Lexitecture. Ryan is experiencing the final big crunch of law school. When he told me this, I said it sounds like a film I would rent but not buy, although I don't actually know if that's still a thing. Maybe it's more accurate to say that I would stream it but not go to the cinema to see it. It might be on the Sci-Fi Channel, and I'd like to think that there are at least 5 sequels. In my head, it's a fine example of college movie meets 80s action film. Who doesn't have time in their life for that? I'd definitely rather be a bookish but beautiful brunette saving the world with the help of an oddball lawyer whose unlikely friendship with a Russian bodybuilder proves somewhat problematic when he tries to destroy him and everything he loves, plus his law school. Or something like that. By the time we get to the third sequel, there's definitely none of the original cast attached. Even the maybe 80s pop star lecturer. That's a thing. Yeah. Somebody like, well, I watched a film, one of these disaster Sharknado type films that starred Tiffany from the 80s. I think we're alone now, Tiffany. So that doesn't seem any less likely than the final big crunch of Law School 4. I like to joke that around here, Ryan does all the real work. This podcast was his idea. He masterminds the technical aspects of podcast hosting sites and all that stuff. He keeps me right regarding my shockingly poor audio recording skills, and he created and maintains the website. But the one thing that I can claim to be responsible for is the name of the podcast. Today I'm diving deep into the etymology of the 2 words that I crudely mashed together to create our name. I'm pretty keen on making up words, and I couldn't call myself any sort of etymologist if I didn't know that there's a word for that, neologising. This is a word with a pretty straightforward etymology. It's all Greek to me and to everybody else. It simply means new words. There's a whole lot of Greek in this episode, and I'd love to tell you that I consciously neologised a title using Greek because neologise is a Greek word, but frankly, I'm not that well organised. In my mind, somewhere in the mists of time, the conversation probably went something like this. Hey Amy, do you want to host a podcast with me, eh? What's a podcast? It's like a homemade radio show on the internet. I want to start looking into the etymology of words. Cool, I'm in as long as I don't have to do anything technical. What should we call it? Something to do with the words, the way that words are put together, how they're designed. What about Lexitecture? Awesome. I'll get started on the website. Sorry. I'm just going to be super amused at myself for a minute. Apologies. Okay, I miss Ryan. I've never done a solo episode before. And I really am genuinely pleased with myself right now, because I've heard so many North Americans, including the great Michael McKean in the excellent Good Omens adaptation, trying to approximate my accent over the years and mangling it so badly. I feel like I'm due some terrible Canadian. Please don't be offended. I was certainly never allowed to be. It has just occurred to me that we could have called the podcast Architects with an X. That might have been better, but it's probably too late to change it now. Anyway, the Lex part of the title comes from the word lexicon, which the OED defines as a word book or dictionary, chiefly applied to a dictionary of Greek, Hebrew, Syriac, or Arabic. This definition is first cited in 1603 in the first edition of Christopher Hayden's A Defence of Judicial Astrology. Other definitions given by the OED include from 1647, the figurative sense, the vocabulary proper to some department of knowledge or sphere of activity, the vocabulary or word stock of a region or a particular speaker, or a list of words or names. We then get from 1933, in the sense of linguistics, the complete set of meaningful units in a language, the words, etc., as in a dictionary but without the definitions. From 1932, with a capital initial, the proprietary name of a game played with cards marked with the letters of the alphabet, which at first I assumed must be a transatlantic creation, until I noticed that there was a citation from John le Carré's Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy from 1974. Few things are more British than George Smiley, and it would appear lexicon. I've never heard of the game, but, well, Christmas is a-coming, you never know. I'm probably on the nice list, probably. The word comes from, well, the OED has a question mark next to modern Latin, but it seems to be from Greek lexikos, the neuter singular of lexikos, meaning of or for words. Lexis being diction, word or phrase, and leg as a prefix, meaning to speak. That leg part is interesting because Etymonline directed me to the pie root that the word lexicon is believed to be from. Leg pie. Rather beautifully, this root means to collect or to gather, with derivatives meaning to speak, coming from the notion of gathering words or picking out words. This is such a gorgeously whimsical meaning, and I had no idea that this root is also the source of the word lignin, which is the compound that makes the woody parts of plants. The Latin word lignum means wood or firewood, which is where the sense of gathering comes in. Wood is a great thing to look at when it's part of a tree, but if you want to stay warm, you'd better get picking that stuff up. Another fantastic cognate is the term hapax legomenon, which we've discussed before. It means a word which occurs only once, usually within a body of text or an author's work. And this same root gives us the equally wonderful cognate leech. No, not the blood-sucking slug-looking things. In this case, an obsolete poetical or archaic term for a physician. It's from Old English leech, L-C-E, probably from Old Danish leike, from Proto-Germanic lekjas, which means enchanter or one who speaks magic words, a healer or a physician. It's the source also of Old Frisian letza, Old Saxon lackey, Old Norse leikner, Old High German lahi, Gothic lekes, also meaning physician. It's literally one who counsels, and might be connected with a root found in Celtic languages, meaning charmer, exorcist, or physician. I love that those three things have been put together. I don't think they're related at all, but the word seems to. And also the Slavic. We have words like lejikar, my Serbo-Croatian pronunciation is not great, and Polish lekars, which is from a pi combination root, lip agi, meaning conjurer. Interestingly, Etymonline seems to think that the name for the bloodsuckers is a transferred use of the obsolete word for doctor. The doctors weren't called leeches because they used the worms to bleed people. The worms were called leeches because the healers used them. It notes that the OED states that the word is commonly regarded as a transferred use of leech. This is plausible, but the forms Old English leech with a Y, L-Y-C-E, Early Middle English liche, L-I-C-H-E, Middle Dutch lieke, suggest that the word was originally distinct, but assimilated to leech through popular etymology. That's the kind of etymology we like best. Interestingly, the OED cites the healer definition first, dating from around 900 in Bede's Ecclesiastical Histories. Given what we learned during our episode Fake Beads, that was episode 48, I absolutely love the fact that Bede, whose name is a transferred meaning, is the first citation for a word with a transferred meaning. Even better, the second definition given in the OED for the healer leech, cited around about 1200, is this transferred and figurative usage applied often to God and Christ and spiritual persons, just like Bede himself. And what about the second part of our name? Architecture is a word that's fascinated me for a long time, purely because as a child I'd never seen another word that looked like that one. It looked totally foreign. The great irony of this is that architect is another entirely Greek-derived word, a compound of arche or arch, which the OED cites first in the very wonderful and sadly obsolete archibellows, ARCHIBELLOWS, which is noted as apparently an isolated use. The date is circa 1598. It comes from Basilicon Doron by King James the 6th and 1st. And this quotation, I'll do my best. The spratus of these archibelluses of rebellion are flitted into them that hurdus their bucas. Right, okay. Arch, as in arch nemesis or archdeacon, simply means chief, principal, or first in authority or order. Maybe we were right to cut that part out of the name. Architext with an X might have led people to believe we were the very best etymology podcast ever. The second part of the word comes from the Greek tekton, meaning builder or craftsman. This is first cited in the OED in 1563 in the job title of one John Shute. This word has also been given some pretty lofty figurative use, as in the builder or creator of the universe. It's also transferred to things, as in the very beautiful citation from 1871, which I'm including for no other reason than that I love these words in this order, from J.R. Macduff's Memories of Patmos. The deeds done today will be the architects of our bliss or woe. But how was the builder built? Where does this Greek word come from? Good news, everyone, there's more pie. This time the root is teks, T-E-K-S, which means to weave, also to fabricate, especially with an axe. Also to make wicker or wattle fabric for mud-coloured house walls. Etymonline lists some amazing cognates. Listen to this. We have architect, also context, dachshund. I always pronounce that word wrong, so if you're a massive dog fan and I've gotten it wrong, tell me how to pronounce it right the next time. We also get polytechnic, pretext, subtle, technical, techno, technology, tectonic, tate, as in the French for head, but meaning a giant wig. Text, textile, tiller, as in the bar that turns the rudder of a boat. Tissue, and toil in the sense not of hard work, but of a net or a snare. Listen to this. This made me really, really happy. It is the hypothetical source of, or evidence for its existence is provided by tex, meaning to weave, to fabricate, to make wicker or wattle framework. Source also of Sanskrit taksati, he fashions or constructs. Taksan, meaning carpenter. Also Avestan, tassa, meaning axe or hatchet. This might be the best. I don't know how it's pronounced in Avestan. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing Avestan correctly. But this word is spelled Thwaxs. And thwax, as I'm going to render it, means to be busy. Old Persian tax means to be active. Latin texere, to weave or fabricate, as in textiles. Tela, meaning the web, the net, a net, or the warp of a fabric. We have Greek tekton, meaning a builder or a carpenter. Techne, meaning art. Old Church Slavonic. Yay! Shout out for Old Church Slavonic. Tesla, which means axe or hatchet. Lithuanian tassau, tassiti, which means to carve. Old Irish tal, which is a cooper's axe. And Old High German das, German dash, as in dachshund, which means badger, a word which literally means builder. A badger fabricates its set. It is a builder or weaver of its home. And this is how dachshund comes to be a cognate of this root. How amazing is that? We also have the Hittite word taksh, to join, unite, or build. So, in my rather casual and rather flippant neologising all those many months ago, perhaps even years. Yeah, we're older than a year. That's a little bit frightening. But it seems I mashed together the notions of collecting or gathering, in this case words, and using these words to build or weave something. I'm simultaneously disappointed and relieved that creating Lexitecture didn't involve an axe, or at least it hasn't so far, although maybe after Ryan hears my terrible Canadian accent. Thank you very much for listening. My first solo episode seems to be done. As always, we're super grateful to everyone who supports us by listening, downloading episodes, joining our Patreon, contributing to our Facebook group, which is called Word Nerd HQ. It's where all the cool kids hang out. Please tell all your friends. I'm not exactly sure what you should tell them, but definitely tell them anyway.
And that's it for another episode of Lexitecture. To get in touch with us about something you heard this episode, you can email us at words@lexitecture.com. You can also follow along and talk to us at Lexitecture on Facebook and Twitter, and at Lexitecture Podcast on Instagram. For back episodes and the occasional blog post, visit us at Lexitecture.com. Thanks very much, and we'll talk to you again soon.